In this video, we'll go over the basic OR setup and takedown of the Rultract retractor system. First, take the table clamp. The patented shape of the jaw allows the clamp to attach to different size rails with or without a drape. The clamp has a handle assembly which is used to tighten or close the jaws and to loosen or open the jaws. Most operating tables have rail mounting bolts or spacers which are used to attach the rail to the table. The Rultract clamp jaws have a notch which is designed to go around the bolts. Before attaching the Rultract clamp to the table, reach under the rail and determine the location of the bolts. Once you've done this, you can place your Rultract clamp either between the bolts like this or directly over a bolt. Placing it between the bolts or around a bolt will provide a very secure fit when attaching the clamp to the OR table. You do not want the clamp jaw to hit one of the bolts. If it hits a bolt, it will not tighten securely and will be loose and wobble on the table. It can even wobble enough to move on the rail, and you will need to reposition the clamp. Attach the clamp approximately 2 inches below the patient's axilla on the side to be dissected. Clamp position may change or be adjusted according to the age and size of the patient or the physician's technique or preference. Before attaching the Rultract clamp to the OR table rail, open the jaws wide enough to easily place the clamp onto the rail. Check for possible obstruction. Check for free movement of the jaws by squeezing them together, then releasing before attaching the clamp to the rail. Be sure that your clamp is going around a bolt or is in between bolts. Hold the clamp by the upper and lower jaws and slightly tilt the upper jaw inward toward the table. Place the upper jaw on the rail and then pivot the lower jaw inward toward the table. Both jaws should be in line with the table rail. Squeeze the jaws together on the rail and continue to squeeze them together while you turn the knob clockwise to tighten the jaws. Securely tighten with the cross handle as tight as you can. It is very important to tighten this knob as tight as you can. If the person that is tightening the knob does not have adequate hand strength to securely tighten the knob, have someone with more strength put the knob on the rail. Do not use the tightening knob to bring the jaws together on the rail. Instead, squeeze the jaws together on the rail while using the knob to tighten the clamp jaws on the bed rail. Be sure to give yourself enough room so that your glove does not get stuck between the clamp and the handle. When attached properly, the post clamp should have no movement. If the clamp has movement, check for tightness of the cross handle and also for possible obstructions and reattach. Once the post clamp has been securely fastened to the table, hold the top post vertically with the top perpendicular to the OR table. Place the sleeved end of the top post over the spline tip of the bottom post. Slide downward until the splines connect. A slight rotation of the top post may be needed to achieve proper seating. The spline post system angles at 18-degree increments over the OR table. To change position of the top post, grasp the sleeve and square top end near the bend. Lifting upward approximately 1 inch will disengage the spine connections and allow the top post to angle in either direction. To reconnect the spline sections, lower the top post until it stops. When the top post is properly seated, it will not rotate. You are now ready to attach your Rultract extender bar to the top post. Slide the hub of the extender bar over the tip of the top post. Push it all the way on until it stops. You will see a detent or a hole from the top post through this hole. Tighten the lock knob all the way down securely into a detent. Next, attach the Rultract ratchet assembly. There are 2 very important points to note regarding the ratchet assembly. First, be sure that the pin is inserted into this groove. Also be sure that the handle is inserted all the way into the gearbox. If the unit has not been properly assembled, what you might see is the pin sitting outside of the groove. This can cause the unit to come apart. This can be fixed in the field by holding the unit securely by the back of the handle with your hand securely around the gearbox. Do not remove the spool cap nut all the way. Just loosen it enough to where you can slide this cover back and insert the pin back into the groove. While holding everything together, hand tighten the spool cap nut securely. Before attaching the ratchet assembly to the top post, open the lock knob by turning it all the way until it stops. When it's open all the way, you'll be able to see that there's no obstruction from the pin that would inhibit you from attaching it to the top post. Place the ratchet assembly with the spool cap and cable hanging out over the patient's chest and the handle in the direction of the patient's head. Slide and secure the gearbox onto the top post to the desired location between alignment marks and over a detent for proper tightening. The ratchet assembly must never be attached in this manner, with the crank handle above the top post. The gearbox will not function properly. Attach the rake plate assembly to the snap clip. The hooks of the rake plate assembly are very sharp, so handle them carefully. Once the Rultract ratchet assembly is in place, you can lower the cable down to the patient's chest. To lower the rake plate to the incision, switch the ratchet lever completely to the opposite side and pull the rake plate and cable down to the incision. Do this while holding the handle as the rake plate is lowered. The cable must be pulled from the spool. Do not use the handle to lower the rake plate, as this can cause the cable to bind in the spool. Hold the snap clip until the cable is completely unwound. When you are ready to remove the Rultract rakes from the chest, you will need to release or reverse the ratchet. To do so, firmly grasp the crank handle and turn slightly in the direction it will move when it is under tension. Do not let go of the crank handle. While holding the handle, move the ratchet lever completely in the opposite direction and slowly lower the sight to remove the rakes from the incision. To remove the Rultract system from the OR table, carefully respool the cable with rake plate assembly attached. Remove the rake plate assembly from the snap clip. Remove the gearbox from the extender bar. Loosen the lock knob all the way by turning it counterclockwise. Hold the gearbox securely and slide it off of the extender bar. Next, remove the extender bar by turning the lock knob counterclockwise all the way until it stops. Slide the extender bar off of the top post. To remove the top post, grasp the sleeve and squared section of the top post, lift it up off the bottom post. To remove the clamp, squeeze and hold the jaws of the clamp together, turn counterclockwise to loosen the knob all the way. Once the clamp is loose, wiggle it on the rail and the jaws will open. Then remove the clamp from the table. This is the proper method to set up and take down the Rultract retractor system. Thanks for watching.